Dave, good afternoon. Just with Julio taking the hill tonight, Ruiz catching him, what would you like to see as far as that, battery is concerned and Julio being effective tonight?
Julio coming off a really good start. He knows, I think, for him, just to continue to be aggressive. These guys they get some nice dynamic players. They do a great job of staying in the strike zone, spoiling some tough pitches. So I think that to nibble, you got to be on the attack. You got to pitch to the strike zone, make quality pitches. And with Julio and Cabert, they have a relationship. Cabert's been in camp with us the last few years, so they know each other. Cabert's caught him many times over, so I feel good with the battery. I know, and it's also good for Cabert to get that first major league start under his belt.
You guys have scored 51 runs and have hit 17 home runs in your 7-game winning streak. Does it seem like it's more of a complete style of game, that it's not all necessarily coming via the home run, although you do have the power, but you're mixing in some small ball as well?
Yeah, it's that home run total is a little surprising. I just see good at bats. I see some of the little things we're doing. I see a team offense, and I think that's the thing that I'm most encouraged about. Understanding that certain guys are still not where they need to be, they want to be. But I think overall, we're doing the little things as far as trying to push some runs across.
With Gonsolin going yesterday in the 6 innings, obviously he's not going to be available for some time. So is that the reason for optioning him and getting Victor up here for an extra arm?
Yeah, Tony, we made that decision. I think that, looking back and looking out to the 17 days in a row, I think the idea of getting Tony a couple starts was something that we want to do. Whether he pitched well, didn't pitch well, we want to get him that experience. And fortunately for all of us, he pitched great. But now, obviously, having thrown and would be down anyway, so to get that other arm, get Victor here, experience, I think he matches up well with these guys. It's a good opportunity for Victor as well.
So if Tony doesn't make his next start until you guys, just with off days and perhaps Alex coming back?
Yeah, exactly. So to have him go to that secondary site, to then now throw his pen after, on day 3 and get back and stay on a regular routine just in case if something does happen. But certainly the goal is to get Tony back at some point.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Dave, with the way I understand the plan that you guys had in place for Tony, but the way he pitched those 3 times that you called upon him, how much is he forcing the issue to be in the conversation, to maybe be in the rotation?
Very much so. I think that the way he pitched, performance certainly does matter. I don't think that right now we have to be set in the rotation to finish the season or even think about the postseason. But Tony's done everything he can do, and so that's good. That's a good thing for the organization. That's a good thing for the Dodgers. So our message to Tony was to just continue to keep that edge, keep pitching well, and be ready. But certainly, what he's done here in 3 starts is not lost on anyone.
Dave, with the way the offense and more guys are swinging the bat well, has that allowed Cody to buy himself more time to figure things out?
Yeah, I think that Cody's earned the opportunity, the time to figure things out, and that's kind of the way this lineup, this team was constructed, where there's not one or 2 players that needs to carry the brunt of it. So I just want Cody to continue to take good at bats, and whatever that means, the result we're fine with, because we have a lot of players that are playing well and a lot of talented players around him.
There was a published story a couple of days ago about what he's doing against curveballs. Is that something that you guys have seen and agree with? And what's the diagnosis on all that as far as him swinging at curveballs, missing at curveballs?
Yeah, we're certainly aware of it. So there's a part of it where I think that there's a mechanical part of it where you're not staying through the baseball to hit the curveball. There's a part of it where you're not balanced throughout your swing to stay on the baseball and not smother the curveball. There's some unluckiness. I think that I recall him hitting many curveballs hard, just right at somebody. But yeah, we're certainly aware of it, and we'll try to keep getting better.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Hi, Dave. You mentioned the postseason. I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit. After watching the Lakers and the Bucks lose as #1 seeds yesterday, that made me start thinking, do you think the best teams in the league when we get to the postseason aren't going to have enough of a reward for being the best team over 60 games? The idea that it's going to be a 3-game series to start, no fans, and there's a chance of you being a neutral site in a bubble.
Yeah. I think that baseball, more than any other sport, the seeding doesn't really matter. And so now to essentially have the #1, #2 seed and to play a 7 or an 8 at a neutral site in a 3-game series, there's just not a lot of advantage. It's a flip of a coin. So I like the idea of the 1 seed getting to pick their opponent, for whether it be matchup based or whatever the situation, but that's just not to be. So we have to play with the cards, the rules that we're dealt with. But certainly for me, if you look at baseball, especially in a short series, it's anybody's game series.
You mentioned the picking your opponent thing. Would you be open to, if baseball were to implement some changes to make it better? Do you think that'd be a good thing here 6 weeks out?
Well, if it plays out as such, I do, because I think that, whether it's 60 games or 162, if you're have the team with the best record, you should have a considerable advantage. And that's just my opinion, and whether it's biased or not. And we don't know how that plays out still to this day, with this season, but that's just my thought.
Thank you.
Hey, Dave. Forgot to ask this. Got me now?
Gotcha.
There we are. I forgot to ask this after the game yesterday. How did Alex Wood's sim game go?
It went pretty well. I think that there was a little bit of he went 3 innings, got through it. I thought the stuff was fine. There was a little bit trying to get loose, I think, after the second inning. But after just the normal soreness, he's at that secondary site playing catch. And so I think as we sit here right now, the plan is for him to throw a 4-inning simulated game on Monday. So that's positive.
What Austin Barnes has said he's gotten some help with his swing from Mookie Betts. What do you see that Mookie has done for him?
Well, Mookie, it just kind of did some things to free up his mind, give him some clarity, give him some cues, some keys mechanically. And it's just something that Austin has landed with him. So Mookie's been great, gone through the hitting coaches, and they've all kind of collaborated. And the most important thing is that it's, again, landed with Austin. So just using the big part of the field, staying in the strike zone, and just some things mechanically that they've kind of talked through. But it's paid big dividends up to this point. Austin
has said that, kind of alluded to his mind being clouded up there the last couple of years. Is he a guy who takes too much advice or tries to absorb too much? Where does the cloud come from?
Well, I think the cloud comes from performance, chasing numbers. I think the cloud comes from thinking mechanics when you're in the box and not just focusing on seeing the baseball. But those are things that happen when you do struggle and you're trying to kind of find who you are again, because Austin's always been offensive his entire career, especially throughout the minor leagues in his first year here with us. Yeah, and there's also when you struggle, you're searching. So I think that he was victim to also maybe searching a little too much.
Thanks, Dave.
Yep.
Dave, who's on your taxi squad for this road trip?
Spores, Rocky Gale. I think that's it.
And
also Zach McKinstry. I'm sorry.
Okay. And then I'm just wondering, a season where you guys are restricted into you're playing with your own division or own regions, I guess, due to travel. but here you are playing 4 games against the team, but you still have to travel for these 2-game series. Is that kind of odd to you, just given the the situation of this season?
Yeah, it is odd. It is odd. Whether it's 4 games here or 4 games in Los Angeles, you'd think that, cutting down the travel makes more sense. But, there's obviously some logic behind it. So, but yeah, in these times, certainly, I think either club would have been fine with playing 4 at their respective cities.
One other sort of logistical thing. I know the alternate site, you guys are at USC right now. There was some talk way back when about once like students came onto campus, you might move sites, but that doesn't look like it's going to happen. Do you anticipate staying there throughout the rest of the year?
We do. The thought initially was to go back to Rancho, but fortunately, any way you look at it, fortunately, unfortunately, school's not kind of going back to normal. So our guys we're going to stay there to finish the season out.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Dave. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, guys.